Ah, RuneScape. Have you ever seen a more magnificent collection of squares? These squares, under the perpetual shepherding of Jagex, with assistance from we, the players, is home to one of the best catalogs of stories I've ever experienced in video games. From helping a dense, but lovable chef keep his job, to literally rallying the free peoples of Gielinor to go to war over something you started, this game has a story for everyone. Hello there, I'm Trig, and I love questing in old-school RuneScape. I know, with gems such as One Small Favor and rat catchers, how can I speak such blasphemy? Well, if you give me a second, let me explain. You see, not all quests are like these two that I've just mentioned. Sometimes we end up on an island filled to the brim with poisonous everything, and monkey archers that don't ask questions and don't miss. But as you can see, I'm the gnomish ambassador to the monkeyness nowadays. I guess you can say that I'm kind of a big deal. Despite everything we've gone through, I know that deep down, this Gnome King still doesn't trust me. Whoa! Hello! Where were we? Yes. Why questing is good. For me, it came down to the stories, the diversity of locations, and the inhabitants that were at these locations, and that lovely, juicy carrot at the end of each of these quests. Whether it was helping that monk get his hot air balloon network started, rescuing that small boy from a vicious gladiatorial arena from the dog and the devil, saving ungrateful gnomes time after time, all of these quests all felt very thematic. And it made me feel like Jagex had a very firm grasp of what they wanted to do with these plot threads and where they wanted to take the stories moving forward. Love for the stories aside, no one can deny the allure of some of those quest rewards. There's a reason Desert Treasure gets done as often as it does, and most people there probably aren't there for the story. With so much in store, it made the Quest Cape my first long-term goal in the game, something I had never achieved in OSRS before. At the time of me going for the Cape, there had been plenty of new quests added over the years, with some much appreciated variety and spikes in difficulty compared to the turbo porking that some quests from back in the day could get. Safe spotting every demon in a gnome quest ever. The addition of all these new quests, on top of how large the game had gotten to at this point, meant that this achievement would neither be easy or fast. But I didn't get discouraged. This game at points is the goal creation completion simulator, and boy, does my brain do some fun stuff when I accomplish a goal I set. During this time, there was running, and more running. Seriously, it's no wonder that so many people on the internet that play this game push you to do graceful and get your agility training done early on, because especially on the Great Current early on, I was running. Some runs were exceptionally fun trots around RuneScape, however, such as doing the Wanted quest and getting access to that clean white knight gear. And so the grind continued, a deliberate push forward of training skills, making gold, and slowly but surely knocking down that quest log. It is true, however, that not all quests in this game are made equal, and the stories that occur in Relica and the Extending Islands are some of my most beloved, maybe in all video games. From trying to figure out the puzzle in the Sears house as a kid, to claiming my first Nezzy helm after slaying the ice trolls, and even now, having a pretty fun boss fight during the Exiles quest. You'd be hard-pressed to come up with a reason to make me dislike everything that Relica has going on. Look, even the cows around here are just built different. Can't forget to mention everything that happens on MoonClan Isle. While the Lunar Spellbook is easily the most utility-focused of the spellbooks, and for me, the one that I only end up using for some gold-making methods, being the home of Venge makes it a hot vacation spot for everyone that's trying to get good in on other people in PvP. While all the questing was happening, I got 99 cooking on the side as a way to fund the adventure.
Try to keep your feet right on the ground. When you're supersonic racing, there's no time to look around. Everybody, 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 everybody.
All of this effort resulted in me getting my first quest cape in Old School right before Desert Treasure 2 released. Wow, a Warcraft section? Well, yes. You see, I took a little break from RuneScape post-Quest Cape, as there is a strong suspicion that I would be getting the first Shadowmourne in our guild, and in Wrath Classic, that was one of the highest honors you could have been chosen for. After hearing that, I made sure to fully commit to my raid team so that I wouldn't be the one letting them down, as there were a plethora of good options that they could have given that axe to. Now though, with my Warcraft journey coming to a close as Cata looms on the horizon, and me jumping right back into Old School feet first, I want to take a moment to say thank you to everyone I raided with in Port Authority and Yacht Club. Even though our shared WoW experience is coming to an end, I'll always remember the gamers that I spent over 2,000 hours with. But just as one great story was coming to an end, another was starting a new chapter. One that I was very excited to get back into. You see, I was back, and feeling naked without my quest cape, so it was time to change that. Defender of Varrock was just a short little jaunt out to some hole near the Rag and Bone Man, followed up with a neat little shield blasting cutscene of old dude killing all the zombies. It was good stuff. Then there was the Paths of Gluffery, another charming trip to the gnomes to solve problems that have been brewing for ages apparently. And just what an unlucky coincidence that I'm alive right when this stuff goes down. Fortunately for me, some dead chickens and one cranky gnome Gramps later, and the quest is complete. Everyone's Old School journey brings them down to the desert at some point, so I decided to take a side trip to spread the good word of Marty to the poor diseased souls living in Sophonem. While I was out here though, I decided to do a little sightseeing at the entrance to Tombs of Amascut. Perhaps some foreshadowing. I don't know, maybe. Ah, what a relaxing sight. The empty sands, the empty everything. Hopefully everybody's not dead. Enough of the easy stuff, though. It was finally time for me to explore that ancient vault and discover the hidden secrets of the Zerosian Empire. The destroyed remains of Lasar, buried under the rubble of the once great dwarven city Kamdazal, was my favorite part of this quest. The sheer scale of this one location was jaw-dropping, but coupled with the thematics of the area, the mystery of this sole-surviving dwarf that has incredible resilience to the corrupting effects of the Whisperer, and the final showdown in the Sunken Temple, all combined to make this one of my favorite slivers of old-school RuneScape. The Scar, a hole shorn seemingly into the fabric of reality itself, as it connects our plane of existence to the Abyss via a gateway. While the extensive brain mazes and the bevy of chewed-up demons weren't my favorite of the bunch of the 4 new areas, there's no denying that feeling of nervousness the first time you sail your tiny bow out to that lake to face down the Leviathan. Let me tell you, that big old boy was the hardest of the new bosses for me, but one that gets me pretty hyped to think about learning and owning later on in the game. The Stranglewood, home of zombies that would love nothing more than to run you down. While collecting the ingredients for the poultice for Cassandra was mid, the wave defense was interesting, and the way the story turns, ultimately having to fight Cassandra before you face down Vardorvis, was excellent story-wise. And finally, the frozen prison under Gorok. Not much to add here, except that the Duke fight was the easiest fight for me, as I picked up the melee weaving strat in and out of the ice cubes quickly, and it was easy to execute on. But that was a month ago. Desert Treasure 2's done, and I have my quest cape back. So I'm sure you're all wondering, what's next? Are you finally going to mention what this video's been building up to? And to that, I have to say... Yes, that's right. I'm gonna chronicle the remaining journey of finishing the achievement cape. This challenge is sure to be wrought with peril, as I still have wilderness bosses to slay, raids to explore, and lots of fish to, well, fish. Despite the mountain of time investment that Slayer and fishing represent in this goal, I guarantee that I'll be wearing that cape someday. But that's all I have for you today, so enough with the idle chit-chat. Let's get after it. If you like this idea, maybe like the video. It tells me that you want to see more of this. And if you don't want to miss any of my future endeavors, subscribe to stay caught up with all things Trig Time. Thank you if you're someone that made it this far. Good luck in your travels, and Godspeed, adventurers.